Hey guys, it's Spencer. I've had a lot of requests on making a blue tongue skink care video, and I will be doing that today now. So this is my blue tongue skink. His name's Skittles. He's a Halimari blue tongue skink, or a Halimahera. And there's some that don't really have this much red, but he has a lot of red and it's really pretty. So is his belly. It's pretty pretty too. He's a little bulky today because he ate yesterday, but that's fine, he can still be handled and stuff. So before I get into the cage and then the temperatures and everything like that, I'm just gonna say some facts. So they're called a blue tongue skink because obviously they have a blue tongue, and they can range from New Guinea to Australia. And so they have that blue tongue, so this is how they would scare off their predators. Say like a bird comes along, and he'd open his mouth as wide as he can, and then he'd flash that blue tongue, and then his predator would either run off, and then while that animal, the predator, is distracted, he'd run away. And you wouldn't think he's that fast, but they're pretty fast. And they're almost snake-like because of their tiny legs. They have tiny legs. And also, these are omnivores, so they'll eat vegetables, insects, fruits, vegetables, everything. They'll eat pretty much anything. And you could probably find the entire list, because I have an entire list on my computer. There's an entire list of everything. I don't have the entire list of what they can have, but I know they can have, like, I feed shrimp sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. His favorite food is bananas. And he doesn't really eat any bugs. If he does decide to eat bugs, it's either dubia roaches or superworms. But sometimes he won't always eat them. And you can see his tongue if he decides to do it. Yeah, nope, he's not deciding to do it. He won't always do it. There he goes. And they're pretty fast. But he's pretty cool. He's easily one of my favorite animals. And he'll just get a little bit bigger than this. This is pretty much about full size. And they're really tame, and sometimes they're pretty hard to find, but you can find them online or at a reptile expo. I mostly see mine at reptile expos, but I didn't get mine at a reptile expo. I got mine at Kidder Cabana. That's where I get most of my animals. And they have one there right now. They have the Halimari there right now. And he's super tame. So if you guys live in the Portland area, I think it's the Wilsonville one. And they have a Halimari, and he is the tamest. He's not, so this one, he moves around see how he's moving all the time when he is handled. That one, at Kidder Cabana, he is the tamest thing. You can pick him up and he doesn't even move. He's so chill. He's so cool. And he's maybe a little bit smaller than this one, but he's really cool. But there's also a lot of different types of skinks. I'm not going to talk about those, but I'll tell you some of them. This is the blue tongue. And then there's like a 5-line skink. There's a prehensile tail skink, or a monkey-tailed skink. And that one's probably, I think, the biggest type of skink in the entire world. It's like that big, but they're really expensive and they're really hard to find. But they're called the prehensile tail skink because they have a tail pretty much like a crested gecko. They can move it independently. And that skink's really, really cool. And they have giant water skinks. They have crocodile skinks. They have a lot of different. There's shinglebacks. There's a lot of different types of skinks. Pink tongue skinks, fire skinks. There's so many different kinds, and all of them are really good pets. Pink tongue skinks are really cool. They're just a little bit smaller. They're all really cool. But we're going to be talking about the blue tongues. So now I'm going to show you my cage, and I'm going to put him in the cage. I'm going to put him in his cage. So this is his hot side. This is where he spends most of his days. If it's colder, but if it's hotter, he'll go under here. So the hot side right here on his basking spot, or his hot side, I keep it about 80 to 90. 90, I think it's like 100. It's like high 90s at the hottest, because he doesn't really always come out if it's super hot. And then the cold sides, it's just normally like it's normally like high 70s or something. It stays that. I don't know how when it's like 90 over here, but it somehow stays there. I missed it a lot more than over here. And humidity is like, I say like 50 or 40. I don't always measure the humidities. I only do that if he's not like coming out, because he only comes out when he has the right humidity, and he's been coming out a lot. So this is pretty much what I do. I put 3 hides in there. I might move this one and put this in there on this side and make it like look a little bit better. But you only need 2 hides, a hot hide and a cold side, and then you also need a water bowl. And then, so I keep good plants in there because obviously he likes to stay back there, and he hides back there. So I just recommend like big plants like this, so he can stay and he can feel safe. And so this is an aquatic fish one, but it still works. And these are just like suction cup plants. I've had these forever, and I just put them in hot water, and then I put them just on this piece of cork round, and I just put it like this, and then you can hide under it and feel safe. But I'm probably gonna take this out, this cork round out, and put it right here. And anything with nails. These animals definitely have nails, and these scratch me up worse than my Savannah Monitor's nails. Like, definitely. It's nothing like bad, but like it's just something that doesn't feel good. And you might have just like some scratch marks like that. I just made those. But they'll look like that kind of, and it looks like you'll feel like they scar, but they won't scar. They'll just leave them like 5 minutes. So I also keep a rock in almost all my big lizards with nails, so that they can file down their nails. I keep those in a lot, and most of the time they use them. Savvy, my Savannah Monitor, she has like probably like 10 rocks in her cage, and she just goes down and she walks, and she like does like weird stuff with it. Like she'll pull her claws like this. And substrate, I use reptile soil. I use that on pretty much all of my animals now. I switched my crested gecko to it. I don't think there's really any things I don't have reptile soil on except this one and this one. But this one, my bull python, he will go on to reptile soil like by the next month probably. And so that is pretty much it for this. But I use forest floor for it, and it's just pretty much like little pieces of bark too. And I'm gonna show you guys like what I do to spray down the cage. So this is my sprayer. I have this one, and then I also have this one. I had this before I had this one when I only had a couple animals, but the anoles don't really like when I spray them with this, so I have to spray them with this like really slowly, and sometimes it sometimes takes like a long time, but that's kind of, it's not that important. So I gotta pressure. So I still spray this side a little bit. I just don't spray it as much as this side. And I think this is a 125 watt light, and it sometimes gets in 100s because my room's normally pretty hot in here. Like it's hot in here. But so this light normally keeps it way hotter than it should be. So we're gonna switch this one. This is 100 watt, and that's 125 watt. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Now, I don't know why the water's not really working, but there it goes. So that's pretty much how much I spray it in. And I do spray the substrate a lot too. So that's pretty much how much water I go on the hot side. On the colder side, like the more humid side, I'll spray it down a lot more. Like, I get the substrate, the plants, everything. You gotta get the substrate too. And I spray this once a day because his cage will dry up a lot. And I'm pretty sure this is a 40-gallon cage. I'm pretty sure it is. It was either 40 or something else. I don't know, but some of you guys will already know this. And that's pretty much it. That's 1 day's worth of spraying. And I'll pretty much spray that all. That's just what I'll do pretty much every day, unless it stays pretty wet. And so now, he's pretty much already an adult. So I'll feed him 3 to 4 times a week. But for juveniles, you'll feed 4 to 5 times. And then for babies, you need to feed 5 to 6 times. Babies enjoy more insects than adults, I've seen. Well, that's been with him. When he was a baby, he liked insects more, but now he's kind of like just more of the fruit kind of guy. But so that's basically all the stuff for the cage and setup. So now I'm just gonna tell you pretty much how to handle them. I know you just came out. You're gonna come out again. So you just kind of want to support both of the legs and make sure he's not like flopping down like that. Make sure this is how I kind of do it. I put one hand near his front, one hand near his back. See, and he always does this, so I'm gonna just put just like that pretty much. But like, so my other hands go like that. You don't really need to support his tail at all. Here. So I basically just go like this. Like, so this is where his head will be. And then his longer part of his body will be going like this. And yeah, that's pretty much how I always have handled them. And they can be like a little bit more skittish. They will like run. Like, so a bearded dragon, I mean, if I take him out, he's just gonna sit there unless there's a worm in front of him and he will chase it. But pretty much that animal will just sit. But I've taken him to a show. He will not sit unless he's sitting in the sun basking. And you won't always see these guys basking. He does it probably like 1 to 2 times a day if it's like colder in my room, but it's not always colder, especially in the summer. But see, that's kind of what he does all day if it's hot. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for subscribing this much, because I've had a lot of subscribers. I did not think I'd gain this much in 3 months, 3 to 4 months. I did not think I would have 6,000 or 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys, and please subscribe and like the video, and be tuned for more videos.